Hello everyone, my name is SteveTVOnline, and I will be submitting new Super Lucky's Tale New Game Plus all main levels. In this category, I'm going to be collecting the end page at the end of each level, basically an IL of each level, and going through the entire game. And this game came out in November 2019, and since then, it's had major optimizations and time saves due to one fact alone, which is that the PC version released not too long ago, and that cut off 5 to 10 minutes alone by itself. And then they also have new people finding new tricks and strats to get the game going a lot faster. So before the route starts, I'm actually going to explain a little bit one of the main trick of the game, which is bonk hopping. What we do is we do our burrow move, which is right trigger, and we do that against the wall. Then right afterwards, we're going to do a tail swipe, and then we're going to jump. This will allow for us to climb up almost any wall indefinitely. So the timing begins the second I walk into the first portal here. In 3, 2, 1, go. So this first level is called Go Fetch. It was called something else, Lord Ember's Domain, in the original game that released in 2017. And we're going to be doing our first trick here, and that is Giovanni Skip. This skip was found in the original game by somebody who doesn't even speedrun the game. And so we're going to mash through all the text here, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking up Giovanni, this head here, who wants to get to his body. And it's a massive escort mission, but instead of escorting him everywhere, we're going to bring him all the way over here. We're going to drop him down. Well, not while he's in there. We're going to drop him down there. Then we're going to pick him up and put him onto the elevator. This will allow for us to skip having to go down below. And then we're going to run over this way, and we are just going to run to the very end. We don't need Giovanni anymore. That's close enough to his body, don't you think? So going over here, and we're going to do our first instance of bonk hopping. Now this wall is very annoying. There we go. Then we get up that wall, and we're going to bonk hop a wall again. Doing this will allow for us to skip over a Oh, well, I bounced into it by accident. If I wouldn't have bonked on the wall, we would have skipped Sparky here. So we're going to slide away from Sparky because he likes furry things. He doesn't want us to continue on. So normally we would have Giovanni here, and he would raise us up, and the door in front of us would lower down. But with bonk hopping, we can just get over this wall completely by ourselves. Then we're going to get down here, and we're going to hit A, and we're going to dive out of the area. Now with that escort mission done, we can just climb up here, and we're just going to go straight up. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to jump up here with a small bonk hop. We're going to jump over here with double jump, tail swipe, and a dive. This allows for us to skip having to hit a button to raise a bridge, and then we're going to go over here, and we're going to jump on the very edge of this, and this allows for us to skip over a dialogue box completely. Not a dialogue box, a cutscene, I should say. So, with that, we are now done with the first level. So now we're going to do a thing called alting, where we alt F4 out of the game completely, and then go back into it. This allows for us to be closer to our next level, which is Aqueducts. And Aqueducts didn't really change at all from the original game. And so we are going to be finding ourselves in a 2D level. So right here, I'm going to be going through this level here. I took a little bit different route, that's fine. And then we're going to go over here, and you'll notice these little foxes in the background. That is if we end up getting hurt and we run past those foxholes, those foxes in the background, it will give us our health back. And what's good about this this game is if you manage to lose all 3 of your hearts, then you get lucky enough and you don't have to worry about dying, or if you jump off the edge, you don't lose any, or you lose 1 heart, where normally in the original game you would get a game over. But if you lose a heart and go past a fox, you gain all your hearts back, and saves quite a bit of time from not dying. So now we're done with Aqueducts, our first 2D level. We're going to be seeing quite maybe 3 or 4 in this run. So now we're going to be going into Heavy Heads. And Heavy Heads, in every other category, is the first level that you start in. As you saw, he was coming out of a book, and that's what the motion you get when you start a new level each time. So in Heavy Heads, here, we're just going to be... The objective is to collect 3 heads and put them into their spots to spawn a giant golem to then raise up the bridge. And we have to do this. Unfortunately, we can't just dive into nothingness and collect the page, which would be really cool. But unfortunately, it's not even spawned in yet. So we're going to just go through here. Normally, there would be a door there. But since this is New Game Plus, we set up things a little bit differently, so we made sure that the door is not there. So this is Master Mittens. This is our first member of the kitty litter. The characters in this game are called the kitty litter, and they're the bosses for each world. So he's going to be our first one. And we're going to grab the first head, and we're going to bring him over here. He's going to light up the left eye, I believe. Nope, the bottom. It depends on where they are. So this next one that we're going to be grabbing is going to be the left eye. So we're going up here, and we're going to hit this, which will unlock the cage, and we can go into where the head is, grab it, and unlock the left eye. Normally what you would have to do to get up here is you would normally have to go down below, go into a burrow hole. Oops, that's fine. And then the burrow hole would bring you right back up here to the top, so you could then bring him back down. However, with bonk hopping, we just bonked up to the top, and it allowed for us to go. So the last head is all the way over on the right-hand side, and he will, normally how you get this guy is you... Oh, that was not good. You would go all the way over to the right, and you would have to get onto a bounce pad, then come back around and go up and get him. But with this, it allows for us to just bonk up that wall like you saw, and I kind of messed up. And then go and grab him, jump up a little bit before the pillar lowers all the way down, and then bring him down here. And we have now awoken our daddy golem. And he's going to be nice to us, and he's going to get us our page for this level. Here we go. There's our page. And we're going to be collecting it. And we will be done with this level. Alright. Now that that's done, we're going to go in, and we are going to go into our first auto-scroller of the game. Since we've done it, since this setup is very weird, it's always going to show that door since that's the first level that we would normally go out to. But on these auto-scrollers, it's an auto-scroller, so there's nothing I can really say about this. This would normally be a time for donations to be read, but I'll just explain just a tad bit about this. As you can see while scrolling over everything, there's a bunch of different coins. There's small coins, there's big coins, there's small gems, big gems. Each one of those in a normal category, you would go and you would have to get a certain... Each level has 4 pages, and those 4 pages are to collect the hidden page, which could be in a burrow hole or out in the open, which in these auto-scrollers, they're usually out in the open. You have to collect 300 coins, and the coins equal out to 1, 5, 10, 25, and 50, I believe. And that you would have to collect 300 of those. You had to get the letters L-U-C-K-Y for lucky. then you would have to finish off the level, and those would be all 4 of the pages that you would have to do. Alright, and there's our first auto-scroller. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna head into our first boss, which you already saw our boss, which was Mittens. There is a very, very small optimization that is involved with him at the very end of the boss fight. I'll hopefully be able to get it. Alright, now we're going up here. And here is Master Mittens. Lucky has a couple of words to say to him. And that's it for this time. And then we are going to be mashing button because he has a lot to say to us. There we go. So, for this fight, the first thing that is going to happen is he's going to be summoning these heads here. They will always spawn in the same area, so we know where we have to stand and where to hit them. So we're going to save this last guy to bring it up there to save a little bit of time instead of having to go all the way over there to hit that last head. And now we can collect these coins just for fun to waste a little bit of time here. And all of those are kind of difficult. It's a difficult game to dodge all of those fireballs, but instead we just decide to jump up here and dodge all of them with our bonk hopping abilities. So now we're going to be doing the next phase. Excuse me. And that will be to hit the heads back at Mittens. This is how we actually hurt him. So I'm going to be standing right here. This is just a small optimization that was found in the original game that we kept into this one. And that is, if you stand in this specific spot here, it will allow for those bouncing fireballs to just go over your head. So as long as you're just standing right here, they will always bounce over. It's just something fun that we found. So we're going to get right, left, right. Then we're going to hit him while he's in his falling animation right there. It saves about a second for him to fall down. And it saves about a second because his falling animation, if you hit him in his falling animation, it makes him shoot down faster, much faster than if he was to fall normally, which is very strange. Alright. Now we're going into Veggie Village, and you're going to be seeing me pop out of this door, which is a level. For New Game Plus, what I did beforehand is I went into specific levels that I wanted to start off in, and then I exit out of that level, so when I go back into that world, it allows for me to start right from that level. So there's something interesting about this level. In this level, we have to save 5 bunnies from cages, and all the bunnies are calling us peasants. And coming up after this rabbit is a rabbit we like to call Barry, because Barry's the one that made all of the rabbits call us peasant. So when we're playing this game, we like to say, screw you, Barry. So, oops. 3, 2, 1, screw you, Barry. So then after, as you notice, I'm taking a bit of a riskier strat. I'm like the only person that does it. I bounce over the walls. It's risky because at this point I only have 1 heart, so I have to be careful when I'm getting over here to get over to the switch, and once I get to the switch, then I know I'm safe. So now we're going on to the next rabbit, which has legitimately the longest cutscene in the entire game, or longest dialogue in the entire game. I would like to call this bunny EC, or Existential Crisis, and the reason why is if you read the dialogue normally, he's complaining about his kids, his wife, his life, and everything. So while we're mashing through all this, we'd like to say, shut up, EC. Alright, and as you can see, I'm still mashing. There we go, as I got to explain everything. There we go. And grab that rabbit. We have 1 more rabbit after this, and I'm going to take 1 more. Grab 1 more rabbit here. And then I'm going to do 2 more of these bounces over the risky strats. There's that one, and then we have one more right over here. This will allow for us to get to the ending a little bit faster. There we go. And we are done with Pungent Paths. And that's the Garlic King. He's the one that trapped all the rabbits in the holes in the first place. Well, in the cages in the first place. There we go. Now we are going to do another alt here. And the reason I'm doing this one is because Pungent Paths is so far away from our next level that it saves a ton of time compared to having to run all the way over here. So as you'll see, we're right next to our next world, which is Egg Roll. So we're gonna enter into here. And what normally happens here is you have to shrink down 3 different of these birds that Tess has made really big. You have to hit switches, which will then shrink them back to normal size. However, there's a hitbox on each one of the eggs, so we can just bonk hop around each one of them. So that's what we are going to be doing. Alright, here we go. We're going to talk to Tess first, and then we're going to go over here, and here is the eggs. We're going to bonk hop around those and continue on. I know I do a lot of different movements when it comes to this game. There we go, we got that. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to get the dialogue for Tess. Reason being is, no matter what we do in this section right here, we're going to have to get this dialogue anyway. So we just do it right there anyway. Then we're going to bonk hop up here and get the only switch and chicken shrink that we have. So we got that, and then we're going to do a lock. Every time you dive, Lucky does a lock on onto enemies. So we're gonna lock onto that B to get down there a little bit faster and jump over and grab the final page. There we go. Now we are going into the next 3D or 2D level, and this one can be somewhat of a pain if you don't know exactly where you're going. So right here, we're gonna go into here, and we are going to jump over these guys. We're going to go over here. We're going to then slide over here. Since we don't have to collect anything in this on New Game Plus, it's a little bit faster than if you're going by normal strats. That's fine, because there is another fox right here. So the gimmick of this level is those conveyor belts. They obviously will speed you up, so you want to try and speed boost to get around most of those, or slide down those. That's fine. So right here, we are not going to dive, because we would dive into that burrow hole and waste a little bit of time. So right here, we're just going to do one small bonk hop over, and then we are good. Normally, you would have to hit that switch that I passed by in order to raise up the platform, but you can just bonk hop over it. There we go. So next up, we have Ripe Rollers. We go right from one 2D level into another one. And this next one used to be called Rip Rollers, or Rip Run, whatever you wanted to call it, because it can be somewhat of a pain. So we're going to go, and we are going to not get hit by spiked balls. That's the gimmick of this level, these giant spike balls. And as you saw, for some reason, my PC likes to lag every time I get hit by those spike balls. So if I get hit, that's why this makes it so I do these levels a little bit more careful, because that happens. So it makes it so I get better at the levels to begin with, because of stuff like that. Alright, we're... It's just, there's not much to talk about in these levels. Whew, that was a save. So normally, if my PC wasn't super laggy, what you can do here is you can jump through... You can do a dive through that spike in front of you to speed up the process a little bit faster, but since I really can't do that because my PC likes to lag, I just walk behind it. So we're gonna save just a tad bit here at the very end. Normally they want you to go forward and they want you to bounce on that bounce pad, but if you just do a bonk hop up that side, it saves just a couple seconds. Alright, so after Ripe Rollers, we are going to now go into the community favorite and usually the audience favorite level, which is Harvest Fest. Harvest Fest used to be called Soggy Boggy Boys, and now they've made it a much bigger level with a couple more strats. What you normally have to do is, as you'll see, we go into here and all of the Soggy Boggy Boys are missing. There's a harvest going on, a festival, and there's supposed to be music, but all of them are gone. What we're supposed to do is we're supposed to be talking to the sheriff that's in front of us, and he will open up doors and tell us exactly where to go to get them. However, with bonk hopping, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing all of these levels out of order. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Now, this level is so broken because it was actually the first level that we broke when the game first came out. Because we found bonk hopping and then went straight to this level. So, now we are on to Worm 3. And with this, we have to take these keys. The gimmick is we have to get these keys up to the top of this portion here. So we put that one in there. Then, my game likes to lag a little bit different than everybody else's right here. Let's see if it still happens or not. We're going to bring the key over to here. Drop it down. We're going to hit this, and then we're going to go over here where we're supposed to. Bring this over. Drop that down, bring that over here, pick it up again, drop it down, swing down, and then we're gonna go up to the last one. And this is where the game likes to lag out for me. For some reason, the key is supposed to go right in, but it likes to float up top of the keyhole for some strange reason. So me and only me, I have to go back out, waste a little bit of time to go out this way. And eventually, you'll see that the key will just drop into the lock. There we go. It dropped into the lock. So now we're talking to Nubby, which is actually worm number 3. And now we're going to be going to worm number 2. And we're doing these in a specific order for the sole purpose of, later on in the level, you will see something that's not supposed to be there. So now we're going to get this next worm. And we're going to go up here, and we're going to be grabbing these fireflies, because he can't do the show without the fireflies. They're his posse, basically. Okay, we're going to go up here, and then we're going to go over here and grab this firefly. Now, this route that you're seeing was actually found by me, because I was not used to, finding all these fireflies, so I just came up with the route. Now, we're doing something important right in this section. As long as we don't hover over that bottom section down there, we're able to do a death warp, and it will teleport us back up to here so we're closer to the top. Otherwise, we would spawn down below that dock, and we would have to go all the way back up here. So I'm going to try and do a trick here. I messed it up. So, if you do that perfectly, you're able to jump into the... You're able to, jump into the grass and get all the way over to here before we get the dancing animation of Lucky. And then it saves a tad bit of time compared to normally doing that. But anyway, we're gonna listen. So that's just a hint of what's to come. So now that we did all these in a different order, we're gonna go into worm. We're gonna go to worm number 1. Since we did those out of order, this burrow hole, which takes you all the way to the very end, is now here. So we skip a complete stealth section of the game and just free him up. So he's going to perform for us. So now you're going to see 2 sheriffs down below. You're going to see this guy talk to us, and then it's going to go into another cutscene, and if you look on both sides, you'll see 2 sheriffs. There's only supposed to be 1. And then we're going to listen to the greatest country band of all time, so I'll be quiet just for this music to play. So that is the Soggy Boggy Boys. That's why this is the greatest level for the community. We absolutely love the Soggy Boggy Boys. Alright, and there we go. So now that we're done with the Harvest Fest, we're going to go on to the test fight, which I have aptly named My Girl because she is my favorite of the kitty litter. And she just cracks me up every time that she does anything in any of these categories. Alright. So, there's a little tech involved with this that carried over from the original game. If you stand on the... You'll find after... 1 second. Alright. So after you skip the dialogue here, she's going to attack with her giant spider here. I'm going to stand right here, and as long as I stand on the outside edge, I cannot get hit by it ever. And also where I stood and ran over to the other side, it allowed for me to hit both of those switches instead of having to do multiple ones. All the switches are always in the same spot, so as long as you stand outside on the wood, in the spot where you're supposed to be, then this fight will always be the same. Cool, that was a little bit faster. So we're using the dive mechanic, the lock-on mechanic, to our advantage quite a bit there. So now we just have one more set of switches. We're going to stand up here because these are where our first ones are going to be. And I want to be in a specific area after I finish these switches to do a small speed up for this boss fight. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going up here. I'm going to be doing a roll animation to the very center of the level. This allows for the switches to drop faster, and then I fall into the water. That completely skips the ejection animation for Tess, and it speeds it up. Alright, and now we are done with this world, with Veggie Village. Alright, that was a really good test fight. Now we're going to be going into Eightfold Path. Eightfold Path has one of the hardest skips in the entire game. and that is B skip. This skip was found by Adventurers VV, and what happens in this level, normally you have to destroy 3 different fire beetles, and then you have another dialogue box in order for you to get across a bridge. But with this, we will be able to skip having to raise that platform entirely because of a bee. These bees have the attribute of shooting out stingers at you when they see you. And you're able to shoot them back at the bees, but also, what a lot of people don't know is you can actually jump over, or onto those stingers. Oops. I missed it the first time, that's fine. This still saves plenty of time. There we go. We made it. That was a little bit risky, the way that happened, but we still made it. So even though I miss it the first time, it still saves a lot of time compared to having to get that bridge up. So we're going to take that safety save. We're going to dive up here, and we are finishing up the level. Alright. Then we're gonna roll. Because the faster that we roll here, we will literally get over to where the page spawns before it even spawns. Alright. We're done with that one. Now we're going to be doing Ladder State of the Mind, which is a very convoluted, cycle-based 2D level. This is actually the hardest level in the entire game in a lot of opinions for the community, because of how heavily cycle-based it is. So we're going to be climbing, instead of it being a vertical, or a horizontal level, it's now vertical, which makes it a little bit more difficult for us. So we're going to be going over here. Come on. Alright. So I'm just losing time doing this. This level is very annoying. I will probably focus quite a lot when I'm playing this level because of how much I struggle with it. Because one mistake will make it so you are just falling. It's more or less like a getting over it sort of situation where if you fall, you just can't get back up until you land back down. Alright, that was a good cycle. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to do a small little skip here. If you double jump and then dive right there, it allows for you to just get a small little jump up instead of having to worry about waiting for all the cycles. Alright, so I did not make the first cycle, but we can still do this for fun. There we go, and we have made it up to the top. We're going to talk to this Yeti and the owl and grab our page. Alright, now we're on to Melon Madness, which has probably the best name for a level in it. We're going to go over here, and we go from a vertical 2D level to a horizontal 2D level. This is, I really like this level a lot. This one's super fun if you get all the cycles correctly. So right away, we're just going to be diving underneath the ground, and we're going to be getting over there. That was really fast. That was good. The unfortunate thing is I had to wait. Then we're going to just go all the way over here. Then we're going to use our diving animation to save us from falling down there. Go over, then just follow the straight path right here. Now, a lot of this stuff, you can see into the other categories, because this is one of the levels that you collect everything in. But we're also coming up on another trick called Melon Skip. I found this one by accident. So what you can do is you can just go over that melon right there. Normally what you have to do is you have to go and you have to wait for that melon to get cut. And then you can go across. But if you just do a bonk hop over or a well-timed double jump and swipe, it shoots you up to the top of the melon and you can just walk over it. It saves maybe 2 seconds total instead of having to wait. Alright, now we just have a small auto-scroller of just having to go across this melon, wait for us to get to the end, and then we will be done with this level. There we go. Alrighty. Now we are going on to Peaceful Place. In the original game, this level was called Operation Pointy Thing. And you'll see why it is now called Peaceful Place for the puns. This has 2 skips in it. In the original game, you could still do the same skip, but since we didn't have bot comping, it was done a little bit different. What we're going to be doing is, normally in this level, you have to go right to left and hit switches in order to open up that rib cage from the skull in order to go through. However, with our bonk hopping abilities, it's going to allow for us to go and bonk hop around the skull instead of having to collect those switches. So right there, I messed up my timing. I have specific timing that I do in order to get over there without getting hurt. And then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to do our little skip here. Hopefully this will work. Alright, so I'm going to focus a little bit here. Cool. So what we did there is we did our bonk hop over. Once the camera angle changed, I started to move to the right a little bit to get over the skull a little bit faster. So now we're going to have this trick coming up here called Bombcat's camera glitch. And we don't know why it happens, but we're going to get over here, kill the bee, and then we're going to stand right here, get our camera angle like that, and it just kills the Bombcats for no reason whatsoever. We don't know why it happens. It was found by accident one time, and we were able to replicate it, and now it just works every time. What my opinion is the game thinks that the Bombcats are hitting the fire, and they're dying from the fire. Alright, so now, after that, we are going to be going into our next auto-scroller of the game. Once again, there's nothing really to do to speed this up. So this would be another great time for donations to be read. But one thing that I want to say is I am super happy that this game has grown the way that it has. Because I started this game back in 2017 when it was just the original Super Lucky's Tale, and I was the only one that was playing the game. And since the PC release has happened, this game has just become something of a wonder to see all the people that have made, found and made tricks and movement and glitches that make this game truly fun to watch. So once again, we have these conveyor belts, and jumping onto them, the down ones will slow us down, the up ones obviously will slow us down, and we're using our sliding ability to speed that up a little bit. So right there, I kind of tricked the game into thinking we were still going down and down. I hit the very edge of a down section there. And here we go. We are finishing up this level. Beautiful. Alright, so next is the Buttons and Fluffy fight. This originally used to be the longest and most annoying and RNG heavy bosses in the entire game until about a week or two ago when we found an ability to make this from a 3-cycle into a cycle and a half. If everything is done correctly here, this will be one of the faster fights in the entire game. So what's normally supposed to happen here is you're supposed to have 3 cycles, one with Fluffy jumping, bouncing around and jumping and trying to crush you. Then it goes into fireballs shooting at you. Then the third phase of bomb cats coming in, and then he will shoot the bombs to try to hit you. Or no, the bombs to hit you, and then the bomb cats. However, if this is done correctly, we are going to completely skip 2 of the, a lot of those phases. So we're going to go over here where we're usually not supposed to be, and we're going to bonk hop up this entire pole. The reason we do this is it will make the game freak out because you're not supposed to be over here. Alright, so now we're good. I climbed up high enough. We see the fireballs going, and I'm just going to be attacking right here. The reason I'm doing this is because there's going to be fireballs, or bombs that are going to be coming out, and they'll be aiming right for me. So as long as I'm hitting my tail, it's going to shoot at them right away. Then we're going to fall into the water. We're going to hit another bomb back at them. Then I need to make sure that the third bomb cat that's going to be spawning out of here, I'm going to be making sure that I'm hitting that back at him. Otherwise, and I need to make sure I do it before Fluffy is... Okay, that's good. So we will make sure, we will know that we have the cycle. Yep, okay, good. A second Fluffy did spawn, which lets us know that we did it correctly. So now we're going to go back over here, and we're going to hit the bombs one more time by standing over here. And because the game doesn't know what to do, it won't allow for us to change the camera angle again. So we're just going to stand right here, and we're just going to hit. So what had happened, as you saw, is we had the bomb cat phase as well as the Fluffy phase, and all those attributes add up to us being able to complete this fight like 1.5 phases faster than you normally should. There we go. This fight is now done. It is a very, very strange thing that happens. So, with that, we are now getting out of Wrestle Retreat. And we are going into Gilly Island. Gilly Island in the original game was actually just a DLC, but they decided to make it and turn it into main part of the game. And just recently, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, I managed to find a new time save in this level. And I will point that out when I go for it. So in this one, Lady Meowmalade has trapped people into dancing. And they're only dancing because of the speakers that she set out. So we have to destroy all the sets of speakers and save people from the area. Alright. Gil tells us to just go, so we go and save everybody. We're going to hit our first set of speakers right there, and instead of going over to the left like we normally would, this is where one of the time saves, this new time saves came in that I found. We're going to go over this way, and I'm going to jump onto this. Going to jump up here, going to jump up on this tree, and then I'm going to go up here, and that saves us having to go all the way over to the left to get up here. So she's going to... Normally what you have to do here is you have to go and you have to kill all the enemies. But we can just bonk hop up to the top and not destroy any of the enemies. So we'll destroy our second set of speakers, and then we're going to go for a little bit of a skydive. So normally what you have to do to get this next set of speakers is you have to go and you have to... do a little bit of a Donkey Kong section here. But if we dive all the way over here, get the speaker, then run off the edge into the water, it will allow for us to spawn right back up to where we just were, and we can head for our next set of speakers. That death abuse was something I found by accident, but I just added in that new strat to it to make it just a tad bit faster. Alright, so we got that set of speakers. And now we are going to head... We only have two more, and they're both on the same side here. So I'm going to slide, do a double jump, and make sure I make it over. And then we are going to go all the way over to the left where we normally would have to go in order to get up to the top of that section on the right. So we did a little bit of a special thing there. We jumped on top, or we jumped, and then we tail swiped at the same time, which allowed for that to open up, and I was on top of it already. So after this, we're going to be doing something we like to call Octodad Skip. You saw at the very opening a little octopus, and he's an octopus father. But he's lost all of his children, and he wants us to find his children, and he will help us out to get to our last set of speakers. However, found by Edgy the Hedgy, you can just jump around the dialogue box, go over to here, and then you can slide, double jump, then dive to get up here and get the last speaker. That was found by a player named Edgy the Hedgy, and he did that strat casually because he could not find the 3 octopus children. And I always laugh at that. So now all the people are back, just chilling around, listening to the Soggy Boggy Boys play, and we are grabbing our page. That was a really good level. Good, good. So now we're going on to Trapped in Paradise, which is one of my favorite level. Well, it's really fun to play in New Game Plus because you don't need to worry about like anything. So we're gonna go over here, and we are going to... Normally what you have to do in this game, in this level, is you have to go and, you have to hit switches in order to turn panels for you to get to the next area. But with bonk hopping, we can get around these walls completely. And actually, in the original game, you were able to walk on these walls to go a little bit faster, and even when we didn't have bonk hopping. So what we're going to do is we're going to first go over here to this table here that's nicely decorated for who knows what. Then we're going to go over here, and we're going to get our first one, which would normally be like number 4 or 5. Then we're going to go over here, and we're going to get number 2 out of there and turn back around, and we're going to go right underneath that. Then we're going to go over here, and if you hit correctly, you can dive really good and stand on top of that. That was really good. So we're gonna get our last... We're gonna go over this way to get our last one. And our last one is over here. Perfect. Get our last one. And this guy... And she's gonna get mad because we opened up all the umbrellas. And we're gonna collect our page. Alright. Now we're going on to 3 Cannon Salute. 3 Cannon Salute is a very, very interesting level. We've found a couple of things to this level recently, but they're usually done just on the any percent version of it. In the New Game Plus, we're going to be doing a little bit different here. We're going to roll over here, and this is our next 2D level, as you can already see. With our diving animation, it's going to allow for us to go a little bit farther here. We're going to dive down onto this guy, go up here, slide, and then we're going to run into Buttons and Fluffy again, who are saying, hey, did you think you got rid of us? Well, too bad. We're going to try and shoot cannons at you, cannonballs at you again. So we're going to run away from them by just running. There's nothing really special about it. And now we're going to do a little trick we like to call cabana skip. And what you normally have to do here is you have to go into the cabana, wait for him to explode the cannonballs, or those things, barrels, explosive barrels. That's what I was looking for. And then you can go in, but doing a bonk hop off-screen, off-screen bonk hop, you're able to just completely skip having to go into the cabana. There was a new skip found on the any percent called Cabana Skip Skip that allows for our only clip through a wall that we have been able to find in this game. So as I've been talking, we are now finishing up the level here. We are getting to the last portion, which is to destroy Buttons and Fluffy's Buttons and Fluffy's own ship here. I'm gonna stay right here for the sole purpose of they shoot up there and it allows for them to destroy that. Then we're gonna get right there, and if I get up here fast enough, no, okay. Now I have to wait for the last cannonball, that's fine. We have to talk to Meowmalade and go and grab our last one. And with that, we are going on to Lady Meowmalade, our boss for this stage. Surprise, isn't it? Alright, so we're gonna go over here. And we are going to go into the Lady Meowmalade fight. There's nothing really to explain in this fight. And because Lady Meowmalade is just basically an auto-scroller, and there is a way to kill yourself. There's no way of speeding this up. Luckily, her boss fight has the best music to rock out to. But as you can see from this boss fight here, we have to stand in the blue section. Otherwise, we will get hurt. And then I do this a little bit different than other people. I actually just avoid all the lasers the best I can. I know that I won't get hit if I stand right here. Then I can go over here, stand about right here. I won't get hit by the second laser. Then I just follow these around. And the second that I get up to about right here, I can just stop. And then she will be all set to be hit. Then, instead of them being big, she's now going to make all these blue platforms a little bit smaller for us to try and dodge. And then she's going to do one other attribute that I like to point out here. If you look at these bees, I'll leave some alone for a second. They're dancing to the music, which is a really cool thing that they added into the game. One thing I wanted to point out about Gilly Island, which used to be DLC and they added into the story, this level did not change at all from the original Super Lucky's Tale. It's completely the same. We just have different strats for it now. So this used to be the hardest part for me because they not only add in the lasers, but they also have moving ones that you have to stay on. Okay, we have one more phase. So she's going to just have one panel that we have to stand on instead of, like, 2. But we also get these guys, who are also dancing to the music. That's one of my favorite things about this fight. So right here, she decides to not only make the platforms smaller, but to add on extra lasers. Alright, and that is Lady Meowmalade. We're going to just skip through this, and then we're gonna go on to the last world, which is Hauntingham, or it used to be called Spookington. But if you listen to some of the ghosts in this, they have the best dialogue in the entire game. Carnival Court, this used to be completely different in the original Super Lucky's Tale. Normally in this level, what we had to do is we had to save 3 ghost children and bring them back to their family, which we went out of bounds and skipped anyway. But in this one, we still have to collect 3 items, but it's actually tickets. And earlier, we had Octodad from Deadliest Catch as an appearance. Now we're going to get one more surprise appearance. And you'll never guess who it is. We will see him right here at the very beginning. I'm doing a little bit different routing than I normally do here. So this is Clive the Barker, or as we like to say, Clive Barker. If you know anything about pop culture, he's a director, music maker, producer. Yeah, Clive Barker made an appearance in this game. So this routing that I'm going to be doing is a little bit of a different routing that I found by myself to find the fastest route to get the 3 tickets. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to free that up, and we're going to hit the bell. This is going to get us our first ticket. After this ticket, we are going to go and we are going to go and talk to the gypsy. But there's a problem with the gypsy. The gypsy has now lost her crystal ball, so we have to find it. It's trapped in one of these garbage cans. I don't know how she knows that if it was missing. But luckily for us, the crystal ball will always be in the same exact spot. So we're going to go over here and we are going to unlock it. While we're doing that, we're also going to go up here to do the bumper cars, which will get us our third and final, well, our second ticket technically, but it's the third spot that we found. So I did that a little bit differently. I landed down instead of diving on that last one because it allows for Lucky to start his dance a little bit sooner, so we don't have to wait for the talking and then Lucky to do his dance. And then right here, it gets a little bit laggy, which is very strange. We're going to just take the crystal ball over to the gypsy, and she's going to take the crystal ball and give us a ticket. And then we can head back and give Clive all 3 of our tickets to finish up the level. So here we go. Go down here. And we do not want to talk to the gypsy at that moment. It can actually do a really weird camera glitch that can only be fixed if you run into the ticket again. Alright, so going over here, we're going to jump back in here because it gives us that speed boost. And that ticking, I'm sorry, you're going to hear it for the rest of this level. We're going to open that up, unlock it, and get our last ticket, or get the page to end the level. There we go. So now we're going into my favorite level in the entire game, which is Terror Train. Oops. So, this level is our last 2D level of the entire game. But I absolutely love it in New Game Plus because it's just a sprinting level. Just get to the very end as fast as possible. It's super fun. So I have to be careful here. I got an extra... Alright. And like I said, as I'm just going through this level, we are almost done with this level already. As we finish up the level, there we go. We have now finished up this entire level. Whoa, that was weird. I've never seen Lucky do that before. He just fell from the sky. Well, at least I got a "that's never happened before" inside of an actual submission video. So now that we're done with Terror Train, we're gonna go into second to last level before the final boss, Jinx. This is called Grave Awakenings, and the routing in this is a little bit weird. The route that I'm going to be taking was found by, once again, Adventurous VV, who found a way to go from taking advantage of the stuff that we did in Harvest Festival, where we're, instead of going 1, 2, 3, we're going 3, 2, 1. This is complete opposite order of what we would normally do. But this trick right here that I'm about to do was actually found by King J. Jumping up there makes it a lot easier than the route that we used to do. I saved it. Luckily, this invisible wall is really big. And there we go. We are now on part 3 instead of part 1 of this level. So because we managed to skip a section, you'll see when we get down below that there's normally supposed to be boxes over to the left behind the last gravestone here, but since we skipped it completely, since we skipped the cutscene for the boxes coming in, they don't spawn in until after that cutscene happens. Oh, that was a save. That was really good, too. Alright, so now we're just going to be getting these lights, because this ghost wants us to... We need to wake up the ghost by putting the lights down. Oh, I wasn't able to... That's fine. Right, we got all 6, and then we're gonna get ghost number 2. So there's gonna be a heart that spawns right here. Oh no, it did not this time. We're gonna go over here now, and we're gonna grab ghost number 3. Here we go. Go over here. And over here. We're gonna dive down here. And we're gonna grab that for safety. Then we're gonna destroy... We have to destroy 12 of these enemies in order to get the last ghost. So I'm gonna try my strat here. Cool, that was really good. So, since you can hit the stingers back at the bees, it allows for you to hit the back and kill both of them, as well as just destroying the pumpkin that was there. So we got the third ghost, and she's like, oh, they aren't able to do this? So Spectral Sue is going to be the savior for us and hit all of the boxes away. And since we helped out all the ghosts, they're going to say, hey, thank you, here's the page to continue on. And with that, we only have one more level before we fight Jinx. And that last level is an auto-scroller. So we're safe. Except for me, sometimes, who has managed to die on this auto-scroller more than once. So we're gonna grab this, take it with us. And let's go. So after this, we won't have to worry about anything else because it will just put us right next to the Jinx fight. And we'll be able to enter in. So yes, I have died on an auto-scroller, and that sucks because you have to start from the very beginning if you die in it. Let's go up here. So a lot of this routing you see for some of these levels are usually the routes that we use for everything. Except for any percent, we do not do this level in the any percent route. We actually completely skipped the last two levels. The Grave Awakenings level that I did and this level are completely skipped in any percent because of a trick called Hauntingham Skip that completely skips us doing the levels by bouncing around up to this area, and then we use another tree using bonk hopping to get over to the final island. Alrighty, and we're about done here. Slide down here. And we get this page. Alright, now we're going on to the Jinx fight, and the Jinx fight isn't particularly difficult if you know what to expect. But there is some RNG that's involved with this. And that is to, first, I have to do this. Lucky, over here. Lyra, I'm so glad you're here. How did you get into the book? She didn't. Foolish child. Jinx! I've been waiting for you, Lucky Swifttail. I really must thank you. The book is finally mine! Alright, so that's a tradition for me. Every time I get to the very end of a run, I have to do that dialogue. But with Jinx, he has 3 phases that he's going to be doing and each one of those has a couple of different things that's going to be happening. The first one is those blasts that you saw down below, which can be in a different random spot each time, including underneath your feet. Then he shoots those eye lasers. Well, no, then he moves platforms. Then he shoots those eye lasers, which you have to dodge. Then he has one more phase that he's going to do, which is to summon ghosts for you to attack with. Or to attack you with. Sorry. Alright. I'm gonna stand right here. Cool, I got my favorite. There's different layouts that he can send out, and I like to say that standing right where I did gets my favorite layout. So now he's going to become small, so we're going to make him come over this way, and then we're going to jump on him 3 times. That was found by AGDQ once again, by complete accident. So normally what you do is you have to hit Jinx and he will fly off the stage. However, if you lead him over to where I did, then hit him 3 times, it will cause him to be completely done with that phase after 3 hits right away. So as you saw, I went as far as I could away from the lasers for the sole purpose of the laser is a lot shorter, so even though I started right there, I can stand right there and it will not hit me. Alright. So as you saw there, it almost spawned right underneath my feet. I would have, like that, got hit. Cool. I got my 2 favorite phases, or stages. We're gonna lure him over here again. Alright, and we're on to this final phase. I did not get lucky enough to get my favorite one here. So now he has the platforms raised as well as him using his laser eyes. So a funny history lesson about this. In the original game, Jinx was a lot more difficult to do. So much so that in the original game, when the developers were watching somebody get to this fight and play it, they, after dying like the 10th time, they turn to the camera and say, "Playful Corporation, why?" So that caused them to go and make a patch to make him a little bit easier. But the thing about that is, in this one, he's still not the easiest, but it's still easier than the first time he was ever in the game. So timing is about to end right here, and that is the second that I lose control of Lucky after walking towards the book. 3, 2, 1, time. So, that was New Super Lucky's Tale, New Game Plus, done on the PC. I hope this game is chosen. I want to show this off so badly because this community has brought so much joy to my life because of how much it's grown. But I hope you enjoyed the run, hope you enjoyed watching it, and I thank you again.